is to make sure we have a clear space outside. So in order to do that, we positioned our solar panels in the past in a way that makes it kind of blocks it out. Let me get the chats going here, and then I'm going to switch microphones. Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm so late, but I'll explain why. Let's see. Let's go to right microphone. Okay, ambient. Okay, it's on. It already it did it automatically. AI is in control. I saw an advertisement for an AI girl for a robot girlfriend. Wow, things are getting really weird. So I kind of go by my gut as to what I focus on in terms of the day. Benjamin, hey, Jason Marley, how you doing, brother? Yeah, it's all good. Todd Alexander. It's so we moved some solar panels, and that was it was like kind of a time thing because you can't go without your solar panels for too long. And I was, you're always worried that you might just get reconnect it in the wrong way, and it's kind of high pressure, par- high pressure compared to like most of the jobs up here. But we were able to move three solar panels over to the other end so that we have room to move the RV out. We'll probably move a few more. Hi from the mountains of Kentucky. Nice. Golden Arrows. Yeah, I love the mountains in Kentucky. Kentucky is just such a the uh the terrain is so dramatic. It's just I mean it just drops off and then it goes up and kind of like here, but in a more different way because you have lots of trees. We don't have trees. Hey, Lion Desert. Lionel Desert. It's 86. Cool. Brian, best coffee, organic coffee out there. Cold down in Texas. Interesting. Yeah, it was actually, we have cold nights and very warm days. This when the sun is shining, when there are no chemtrails, the weather is so pleasant. It's just like the winter is better than the summer. The summer is just a little too hot, but the winter's really nice. You're not making free energy devices. I would, the line in my song that the one line in the Matrix song that is kind of like I don't think it's like 100% on the money, but about I don't we don't want no gassy cars. That's a reference to free energy. I mean, I love my gassy cars. They get me there and back. We picked up almost 300 gallons of water in the last couple hours. We just got back. That's the way things are up here. I mean, it's kind of immediate. Like things that you need are not kind of like, well, we need this as well. It's like, no, we need water right now, and we decided this afternoon, kind of on spur of the moment, that we needed to go get some water. But yeah, I'm sure free energy devices are legit. I mean, I mean, should I be finding some? Should I be looking for some? Are they already on the market? I don't know. I guess I haven't really done my research. I should get Danielle. Danielle, you want to look for some energy devices? Okay, she's going to check it out. But right now we're using solar and propane magnets. Oh, you need, yeah, but I'm not gonna start from fresh with magnets and I'm saying if they have a well developed system that like I know the Q talked about it. I think it was from Q that you're gonna have a thing the size of a shoebox that will power your whole house. I'm sure they have it. It's just how do we get it? Palm trees was in the 50s. Loved it. Probably will get hot again. Yeah, I listen, I love this weather. Being from New York, I know my peeps back in on the East Coast are dealing with snow and that kind of stuff. I consider myself lucky out here. The sun is so beautiful this time of year. It's just to work outside is such a pleasure. It's really joyful. But we did massive amounts. We put in 3 windows a couple days ago, and we have a front door now and all this cool stuff. But I realized today I was kind of like I do in the morning. I spend about a half hour kind of walking around trying to figure out what needs to be done on the house. And it came to me that I really need to move those solar panels so that we can soon move the RV out of the inside, because it's so beautiful now with the windows. I mean, we were living with plywood walls, so we were living inside this fortress, and now we can see out at the world. It's like it's just such a joy. I mean, it's for some reason it's different walking out of your RV into this. It's the same view, but when you're looking through a window, I guess you have the feeling that, like, well, maybe I'm a little safer in a sense from in some respects, and maybe this is a more, I don't know. I don't know why it's so different, but look, I love looking at the scene. I love walking outside, but looking outside through windows, it for some reason it makes it more exciting. I don't know why. I haven't really figured that one out. Maybe you guys can figure that out. Copper wire, spark plugs, all you need. Yeah. I'm just, we're on the edge out here, man. We still can't, we don't have our well yet, our well hooked up. Holding water is not, I don't mind it, but it takes a long time. It takes us 2 hours to get there and back. They're different for voltage outputs. It's too easy not to. Free lights, run a generator for free. Yeah, I just listen, I'm right now I'm very impressed with I really like my solar power. It's just quiet, it's reliable, but I'm sure there are free energy devices. I'm sure we're going to be coming into using ether as our energy source, and that will be wonderful. I do have wind chimes to, to keep the energy in the right way. And the wind chimes are inside of our house. They're not ringing right now. That is pretty amazing. That would cut out a large portion of the wind. We still have gaping holes in the plywood structures, and there's certain walls that I don't really want to frame out just yet because we have to pull them out to get the RV out. But anyway, yeah, they're different configuration. Yeah, so eventually we'll get that. We do, I do have high hopes to have some kind of free energy devices. We are using copper pipes in our garden to increase the output in the garden, but yeah. So, and I keep we are, we live hand to mouth. We're on the downside right now. We get paid on Wednesday, and then we've already figured out what we want to buy. But we do it still invest, and I mean, if you didn't buy any XRP or XLM, this is certainly a good time to buy because it's really crashing, and this is the best time to really fill your bags with ISO 222 coins. And I don't know, I think the bad guys are just doing their best to destroy whatever they can. They're on their way out. They're kind of like, well, if I can't win, I'm gonna blow up the room. They're with the chemtrails, with the XRP, with the stock market is still going to the moon, and Trump's taking credit for it. I don't know. There are a lot of things I don't know. What I do know, you have metal detectors. I don't have metal detectors yet. We're too busy surviving right now. We don't have time. We will do that eventually, but we're not there yet. We're just trying to get settled. We're trying to. I was hoping that this morning I was going to hear good news from the Supreme Court that my case had been adjudicated. They take the case, but apparently it was just rejected outright. So the thousand or several thousands of municipal workers that left their job because they didn't want to get vaccinated were just thrown under the bus. So I was a little disappointed with that. I really was hoping to have a lot of money to invest in various things that I would like, maybe free energy and stuff. But okay, so that's just the way it is. I was a little bit surprised to hear one of the people who was like a leader of the this communication that we had amongst teachers to get through this last 4 years, which was brutal. You know, we just they just we didn't get vax and we lost it all. So uh, there apparently that's the end of it. So I mean, at least we have clarity now. I don't feel bitter. I don't really expect and these kinds of things to necessarily to bear fruit. But if they did, it would have been wonderful, and I would have for sure invested in a whole bunch more silver and stuff. But at this point, I'm gonna be limiting my investments to copper. I'm gonna really try to keep buying more copper. It's 34 cents an ounce right now, and that's the kind of thing. I bought XRP when it was like around that price. It's or less, but that's the kind of thing that a poor man can make some money on, buying a thing for very low and selling high. XRP will take off on the 19th. Jason, I've been hearing that for 7, 8 years already. It doesn't. I'm not easily. I don't go by that. I don't go by dates. I know it should have gone off on the 22nd when they converted to ISO 22 hours. All these things, all these gifts from the universe are all very nice, but at the end of the day, you really have to go out and hustle your own stuff and do your own thing. Uh, uh, and along that line, I want to say that XLM 21 cents, right? Yeah, it's a great buy. It's definitely a great buy. And we're going to get a check in a couple of days. We'll probably invest in. I also want to buy some IOTA from Uphold because that just got on the market. But the ultimate investment, I think, at this point, and I'm going to go to my captions, is this, because I answered this website, and I said that I would be available to serve in any way that I can. I'm coming to understand, or I have a rudimentary understanding of what this represents. This is the republic, right? This is the true government of the United States. And apparently it ended in 1860. It was completely annihilated in 1871 with the Organic Act, with the fake corporation and the foreign nationals buying America and taking it over, the creepazoid transnational cartel that took over America. But what I understand, and at least on a simpleton's level, is this: the white hats. Right. In other words, I'm answering Jason's thing about that XRP is going to go up on the 19th. I hope it does, but listen, from what I understand, the white hats are waiting until 50,000 people have signed up per state for the Republic for USA on this website. That 50,000 people have signed up for state, and that they have all the officers in place, the Secretary of State, the governor, the all the different positions, both on the county level and on the state level. When 50,000 people have signed up on this platform, let me go back to the chats. Then but Jason, I mean, I hope you're not going to like take over the chat thing with this XRP stuff, because we talk about XRP all the time, but I'm not talking about XRP now. Okay, I mean, I did mention it, but I'm talking about the Republic for USA. If you really care about moving things forward, Trump is doing amazing things. I'm going to get into that. But until the white hats are waiting, I mean, listen to what I'm saying. The white hats are waiting until 50,000, that's not a lot of people, are signed up for all 50 states in the Republic. They're all, because Jassara cannot begin until they announce the elections. They cannot announce the elections until all, this is just my understanding, I could be wrong, until all 50 states have all their republic people in place, their senators, their congressmen, the whole government has to be in place in order for the white hats to announce that we are going to have elections in 120 days. So if you really can, if you like, I was waiting for this big settlement from the Department of Education. It just didn't happen. Okay. I've been waiting for 7 years. I mean, that's why I'm a little sour. And Jason, I'm going to take you off the chat line if you keep. I, I Jason, I don't need this. We don't need this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, okay. Um, this is important. XRP, listen, XRP is going to go to the moon when XRP goes to the moon. I have no control of that. Like I said, I've been in the XRP game for almost, for at least 7 years, 5 to 7 years. I don't remember. It has value. I don't mind owning it. I will buy the dips every time. But here is something you can really sink your teeth into. Besides you becoming a multimillionaire and all this other nonsense, who gives a flying fuck how rich? I mean, it's just. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've been doing this too long. I'm very sour on that. I could have woken up this morning and found out that I'm getting my back pay and I have $1 million in the bank. It didn't work out that way. Am I pissed about it? Not really. I really don't care. But I do care about this Republic for USA because what they're saying is that Jassara cannot begin. The White Hats will not allow it to begin. So if you're a person like me who wants to see the world going forth, it's not about XRP going to the moon. Okay, that's icing on the cake. That's beautiful. But in order for Jassara to be announced, and what does that mean? They're going to come out and say, we are having an election. The Republic of the United States of America is having an election in 120 days, right? That will be the beginning of Jassara Nassara. So if you really want wealth for all, if you want humanity to be invigorated, if you want to live your dreams outside of this transnational cartel, criminal organization that's been running the world for many years, pass this on. Just tell people about it. Tell them, sign up, man. Just sign up. See if become an officer, run the judicial branch in your county. These are positions, but the whole point of filling the republic, the offices, and this is just my simple understanding, I haven't really studied it, is that they will be in power. Listen to what I'm saying. They will be running the government for 120 days until a legitimate government is elected with fair elections with no cheating. So if you really want the world to advance, telling people to buy XRP is all fine and well. Telling people to get LifeWave patches, it's really great for your health. I don't tire of doing both, of encouraging people to buy XRP, of encouraging people to buy LifeWave products to get some X39 and live healthy. But but here is a way that you can really do something. And we have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the white hats to reach out to us. At least I have. I've been waiting. I've been on the broadcasting they're telling me 9 years. I've been waiting all that 9 years for somebody to say, hey, man, I'm a white hat. We're with you, man. We're doing this. We're doing that. This is the white hats reaching out to us. In 2008, Sandra Marecki was told that when we have 50,000 people per state, that's nothing. 50,000 people per state, and we have all the offices filled. The governor of the state, like Nancy is the governor of Georgia, right? I had a nice conversation with Nancy today. She's just wonderful. Okay. I mean, every time I talk to her, I love her a little bit more. She's just an amazing person. But she said, and this is a way that you and I can do something to move the Great Awakening forward in a real way. So when the 50,000 people per state, which is nothing, when all the offices are filled, the governor, the assistant governor, whatever. And Danielle asked me a very good question. She said, is this the 10% government that's going to be running the country? Yeah. And the answer is, I think so. But if you volunteer to take a position, which I encourage people to do, volunteer, become the senator for your state, become the governor for your state, whatever. And this will inspire the white hats when there's a certain enthusiasm, a certain groundswell of people that are involved with this movement. They will announce the elections, 120-day election, because they need the republic to be in place in order to announce the elections for Nasara. To be a part of that, movement. I mean, we've been sitting here for 9 years trying to figure out how can we help? How can we help? And we've been going through all these gyrations of, well, this is really happening, and XRP is going to the moon, and Trump's really in charge. The bad guys are in charge. It's a false flag. It's a real flag. I mean, all these gyrations that we've been going through. Is the EBS coming next Friday? We've been doing this for years. Here is something we can actually sink our teeth into to manifest a new world. This came to me through Gila. Gila said, I have this friend, Nancy, would you talk to her? I was like, sure. And now, I've volunteered on this thing. I said, I'll be glad to fulfill any kind of office, any way I can help. I will do it because I want Jasara to get started. So if you, and I know I'm singing to the choir, I'm just saying, like, this is, let's talk about X69, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's, wait a minute. If you really want to help, if you really want to see a new world, this is something you can actually do. And I always talk about the manifestation process, that it involves most essentially action. You can think about something, you can say mantras in your closet till you're blue in the face. You can draw a picture of your true love that you want to draw into your life. But until you take action, in my experience, it doesn't happen. So this is a way that we can move forward. This is a revolution. This is the American Revolution taking place, and we get to take part in it. Paul Revere, you're the one with the, with the one by land, two by sea. I mean, whatever it is, you will be part of the American Revolution. You will be crossing the Potomac with Washington. You will be reestablishing the republic, a fair system, a system based on divine divinity. I had a rabbi in the old days. He said the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. He says this is a divinely inspired document. This is divinity, and we are divine, and we are the leaders in a sense of the divine world. Whether we win our lawsuits or not, it doesn't matter. I'm the same person I was this morning. I mean, this morning I expected, as I said, it could be that we'll have lots of money to invest and fix up the house real quick and buy. Daniela wants to buy a new refrigerator and all this other stuff. And I'm like, we'll be able to do it if things work out. But they didn't. And it's like, we'll do it anyway. We don't care. It doesn't matter to us. It's like, if we win the lawsuit, that's great. If we don't win the lawsuit, that's great. Because we're going to get it done either way. And if we have to work a little harder, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for making it possible for us to really sink our teeth into building a house on the frontier. We have to do it ourselves. No one's going to come to our rescue. And a lot of this movement, a lot of the patriot movement is about people waiting to be saved. If when this happens, when the EBS happens, when the RV happens, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. That's bullshit. That's total bullshit in my mind. You should be doing X, Y, and Z whether you have the money or not, because you're divine. You're a manifestation of Source itself. You're a descendant of the gods. You have the DNA. You're the envy of the universe. It's just that we've had this transnational syndicate that's been running the world, and they're being, thanks to Trump and the White Hats, they're being removed. But this is a way. I don't believe in Jesus Christ. I don't. I'm Jewish. It's just like, and anyway, if there really was such a person, and I think there was, would he be telling you should worship me? You should put me, have, me on a cross all around your house? No, he would say, I think what I would basically say, which is, let's ascend. Let's do miracles ourselves. We don't need to we do not need to wait to be saved. I mean, it's the same thing with Judaism. They're all waiting for Mashiach. If you in my community, if you talk to somebody, it's like the Great Awakening is happening. They're like, well, we have to wait for Mashiach. I'm like, why? Why do you have to wait for Mashiach? Well, the Rebbe said you have to wait for Mashiach, and his Rebbe, and the Rebbe before that. And we've all been saying this. And can anybody here really say definitively that this transnational criminal organization didn't get into the religions? Right? Can we all say that with certainty? Well, the Vatican, they just, they're Satanists, but Christians are good. Yes, that's true. But how did it get like that? The Council of Nicaea, they said no more reincarnation. In the Jewish community, they decided to write down the oral teachings. How do we know? How do we know the Romans didn't get into it? I don't know. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, if you really want to do something to troll her, yeah, we got a lot of trolls. Thank you. Not trolling if it's true. Troller, yes. So we got trolls. Why are you watching him and then live to be free? Who's your creator? I don't know. The creator is the creator. The, is he named? Does he have substance? Can I draw a picture of him? No. But I feel in my heart that there is a creation and that I'm a part of it and you're a part of it. That's all. Safe bet they infiltrated everything. Yeah, I mean, the history is weird, right? The money is weird. The pharmaceuticals are weird. Everything is weird, but they didn't touch the religions, really. You got mentioned by Big Daddy and a list of good people. Oh, that's great, man. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, that's the first time I got noticed by any podcaster except for John Dowling. John Dowling's my buddy, man. But I've been waiting. Why didn't Dino, or Freno, or whatever that? Why don't these wild, successful podcasters call me up and say, "Well, what do you think?" It's like, well, because I don't have a zillion numbers, or I don't know. I think I have something to say. I think my it's not really my opinion, but the opinion that flows through me is is of high importance, and that it's a message that needs to be spread, just like Big Daddy's message. Okay, anyway, rumor has it Governor Paul's Colorado intentions of bailing on messing up Colorado for higher office. That Governor Paul's Colorado had intentions of bailing on messed up CO for higher office, sort of. Yeah, I don't know, but the government. Listen, I don't really get. Thank you, Starfire. I think I mean, I don't get. I'm not like wow, I'm a really important guy now. I don't have a lot of ego involved in this. This is just something I do. I just like to do this, and even tonight when we were hauling water and we were really late, we were running really late. I was just like, Danielle, I got to get online. I got to broadcast. Why you should believe your ideology? You absolutely shouldn't. You absolutely should not believe my. I am not pushing my ideology on anyone. What I'm saying is that you should be in touch with your ideology, with what you're about. That's I think if this guy, if Yeshua was alive, he would say, "Be you, not me. You don't have to be me. I have enough trouble being me myself." I'm not pushing any ideology. I like the idea of selling LifeWave products because it's good for your health. I believe it's good for your health. It's been good for my health. But I don't ask you to believe like me. That's the last thing I want. I want you to believe like you. That's what this is all about. Yeah, ego does its job until we get what. Yeah, wiser. Yeah, you're not a troll. No, I listen. Your question is good. Live to be free. It's not. You're not asking bad questions, but I am not pushing any ideology. I mean, God forbid anybody would have to go through the steps that I went through to come in and be sitting here and saying what I do. I mean, it's been a difficult I mean a difficult and it's been real. I mean, my life has been real. It hasn't been a fairy tale of like eating it just it's been challenging and in a wonderful way. That's why I don't really get upset at not winning the lawsuit. It's just like that's just life, man. It's just like, okay, so I'll do it myself, which is much better anyway. And in fact, it's kind of a nice thing to hear that I didn't win the lawsuit, so I know for sure I can't depend on them for anything. I just have to figure it out how to do it myself. And how do I generally figure things out? Sadly, many do not seek and miss the breakthrough because it feels like a breakdown. Right. It does feel like it because you're going through a portal. You're going from one world to the next. It does feel like a breakdown because we've been indoctrinated by this transnational cartel to believing that we are insignificant, and basically, like, if you listen to the religions, you were born in sin. I mean, I don't hold by that. I don't believe that, my mother and father sinned. They loved each other. I mean, I don't call that sin. I call that beauty. I call that grace. I call that wonder. Nothing is more wondrous than a male and female coming together and making a child. I don't hold by we're all sinners and we have to, it's like, really? I mean, I don't have time for that. I don't see it. But anyway, we all seek direction. Right. We all seek direction. But at the end of the day, like, read the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Siddhartha went to find enlightenment with his friend Govinda. Govinda went to all the teachers. He learned from this, he learned from that, and he didn't reach the height that Siddhartha reached, because Siddhartha kind of walked away from all the teachers and just said, I got to do my own thing. And he lived in the real world, and he really made mistakes, and he suffered, and he became one with all things. He became the ferryman, the one who takes people across the river in a little boat. We were born ignorant, learn the easy way, hard way. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we were born ignorant. I don't think I was. I think I was born with a certain consciousness from an early age. I mean, I remember things from very young. I think, and I think we probably all, if we weren't scared out of our minds by people who were doing, they thought they were doing the right thing by, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I can't even go there. If you learn the hard way, you never forget it. Yes, if you learn the hard way, you never forget it, and it's real. You can. It's better to learn from somebody else's mistakes. It's a lot safer. But if you're hard-headed like me, it's like my mother always tells the story. She said, I wanted to touch the frying pan on the stove. And she says, "No, you can't do that." And I just was insistent. I was like, "Mom, I mean, I don't even know if I was talking then, but I was like, I want to touch the pot." And eventually I did. I touched the pot and I got burned. I know they told me, don't mess with wires. So what did I do right away? I took a scissors and I cut an electric wire, and I got the shock of my life. I'm just that way. I have to, I have to find things out myself. But you're right. You won't catch me cutting through wires anymore. I mean, I was working on my solar panels, and I was like, let's turn the whole system down, man, because I don't want to get a shock. You learn. Insist on learning the hard way only. Yeah, right. It's nice to learn from somebody else. All vaccines are toxic filth. Yeah, absolutely. The Ohio baby seated was murdered. Yeah, by a flu vaccine. Yeah, 100%, 100%. And yeah. Anyway, so you got the Republic thing, but this is something we can actually do to bring Jasara. That's much more important in my mind than investing another $100 into XRP. But it's something I like to do. I'm not saying you shouldn't be investing in XRP. It's a wondrous thing to do, to invest in something you really believe in. But anyway, so that's the Republic, to invest in that, invest a little time. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to find out. I'm going to volunteer for some kind of position, and help bring in Jasara. That's huge. I mean, that means you're actually working with the white hats, which is what we really all wanted to do anyway. A couple abuse if you tell them not to, they will making. Yeah, I plugged in a bent paper clip. Yeah, right. We all right. I mean, that's even worse than me. I mean, that's just the way we are. We're hard headed. If you're on this channel, you're probably just that way. It's like nobody can tell you, right? Stay away from women, man. I mean, it's not good for you. I'm like, really? I, God tells you that some things not to do, touch a hot pot, or else we learn the hard way. Yeah, Yeah, and some of us are that way. I'm, staple my finger once. Oh my god, yeah. I've been there too by accident, but yeah, I know. It's just that's just us, man. We're humans, but on the other hand, that same energy when applied to the manifestation process will connect you with source. I mean, if you want my belief system is that we're all part of we're all an uh, a natural connection to godliness, to the divine. I like to call it divine because God has gotten such a bad rap, man. I mean, God, you know, human nature is full of psychology. Yeah, IRS is not closed. Obama is not dead. I don't know what to believe. What you say, it's confusing because I agree with the minimalist lifestyle. Well, listen, man. Whatever. I don't know. You listen. You take what you want and leave the rest. What can I say? So, whatever. Um, we all have to make our decision, but but at the end of the day, we want to be like Siddhartha, right? We want to ascend, and that's what even Q says: focus, focus, ascend. So that's what we're doing. I love your comments. Yeah, God tells us something. Yeah, human nature is full of psychology, right? IRS is not closed. Okay, so if you believe the IRS is open, then pay your taxes. I mean, I don't go there. I'm not interested. I don't believe it. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not sure I want to support a transnational cartel, an evil, sick empire. Extreme material needs is a glaring red flag. Right. Right. Yeah, it could be. Could be. It could be, but maybe some people have to go through that. Lighten up, yeah. Anyway, let me go to some news that I think is really interesting. I think the fact, I mean, what happened tonight is a wonder beyond wonders. President Trump just called what is that disease called? Fentanyl? No, is it fentanyl? Yeah, he called it a weapon of mass destruction. That is such a slap in the face to George Bush. The Bush was constantly talking about these weapons of mass disruption, destruction. I fell for it. I thought, well, they have them in Syria. But they for sure. So here's the thing, and this is why this is so interesting. And the same thing with the insurance. He's going back. He's calling out Obamacare as theft, really. As they're they're lining the pockets of the insurance companies. This is the wonderful Democrats, and the Republicans. I'm not giving the Republicans a free pass. They're just as bad. The Republic is going to replace the corporation. In my opinion, all the all these listen, as soon as the 2020 election, uh this fraud is unleashed, not to mention the auto pen, everything is going to be removed. All the senators that didn't, the Brunson case, all these things, man, they were just weeks away, days away. The Epstein thing is coming out on Friday. There, it's timing. But for President Trump to say this is a weapon of mass destruction is turning the weapon of the deep state on themselves, right? He's saying, I mean, this is such brilliance, and this goes back to my idea that I was trying to express this morning. I put out a video. I think it didn't do very well. That's how I can tell it wasn't necessarily presented well or thought out well. But what I've come to think, for the moment, is that the deep state matrix had a certain movie going, right? And the movie was you go to high school, you go to college, you get married, you know, and then it got and then it was I don't know how to describe this, but it seemed like there was, let's say there was a movie part 1. It was the Walt Disney Show. It was, you know, MICKEYMOUSE. It was like this kind of life of the CIA infiltrated, the heroes of World War II. This is what I grew up on, the war movies, the great, the horrible Nazis and the wonderful Allied forces putting out evil. Well, it turns out that, in my mind at least, that there were Nazis on both sides. This was this was this was the sum of all fears. This was the deep state getting us to fight each other. Like all wars, like Ukraine, like the deep state is screaming, please don't stop this war because there'll be nothing left of us. I think even Rothschild came out and said that if we lose Ukraine, we're gone. The deep state, the parasites, this transnational criminal organization is really being threatened. They're really in trouble, in big trouble. All their slush funds, all their NGOs, all their IRS scam taxes, from my understanding, are voluntary. You want to pay taxes? Go ahead. Day of Atonement, Weekly Confession, and Born Again. Yeah, nice, nice. Means we are all sinners. Okay, if you want to feel like a sinner, that's what I'm saying. I mean, everyone has their own way of relating to the world, and if you're into that thing, God help, God bless you. I who am I to tell you you should think like me? I don't agree. I don't feel like I was born a sinner. I feel like I have issues. I have certain curiosities, let's say, that may not be considered like the most kosher things in the world, but I don't care. I tried living a kosher life. It was wonderful, but it was limited in that respect. I really don't care about the money system. All society should be focused on caring for children. I love your ideas that one missing child should stop the world. I think so. I think so. I think that should be the most important thing in every. That should be the most important concept of anyone. Or somebody gets hurt. Somebody hurts somebody else in a serious way. It's that. I mean, that is. You listen. I'm not going to get into judgment, but I'm just saying that. Then what's the Day of Atonement about? I'm not religious anymore. I don't. I'm just not into it anymore. I've moved past it. I'm not saying I'm above it or below it, but I'm just the Day of Atonement. I don't know. That's for religious people. I'm not in that camp. I don't. Yom Kippur. I didn't observe Yom Kippur. I didn't beat my chest about all the sinning I've done and gotten that out of my system on the one. It's like it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful festival. It's a beautiful holiday. I've observed it for 25 years. This year I'm just like, screw it, man. I'm not into it. Does that make me a sinner? Well, maybe. I don't care. I'm not in somebody else's system. I'm in my own system. And in my own system, it's like if I do something terrible, I have to atone for it. We all have to deal with shame issues, and we feel bad. We do something and we feel ashamed of ourselves, but um yeah, I'm just not into it. You pick Born Again, that's fine, man. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. But I'm just not there. Like people say, Ellie, do you pray? I'm like, well, what am I do? What do I do 24/7? What am I? I'm in constant. I feel like I'm in constant contact with source. So should I stop and formally pray, would that make me a better person? I'm like, well, it just, I mean, even Gila said there in the old days they didn't pray when they had a temple. There was no such thing as praying 3 times a day. They would bring carbon, they would bring a sacrifice, and that would be their prayer. I'm not condoning that either. I don't think animal sacrifice, it makes sense to me. I don't think that a real God would want us to sacrifice animals. I don't see that. But that's just me. If you're in the religion, if you're involved with the religion, you may, the Day of Atonement in the Jewish, in a religious setting is gorgeous. It's the Shabbos of Shabbases. It's the holiest day of the year, and it's wondrous and it's beautiful and it's thrilling. But I'm just not into it. Be careful with what is common. Yeah. Religion is the most successful way to divide us. It could be. It could be that. Yeah. I like I said, I don't know anything about Jesus. And it's not of interest to me. I mean, I don't feel like, well, what would Jesus do? I'm like, I don't know, man. Who, what does that have to do with me? But I understand that is the focus. That is the way, a way of looking, a lens through which to look at existence. I'm just, you know, I'm just out here, man. I'm out in the wilderness, and I'm enjoying it. I'm chilling, man. I'm building a house in the wilderness. That's my, so I can have guests, maybe, so I can do nice things for people, or maybe not, maybe just so I can just live with Daniela and in a little more comfortable style with privacy. And I don't know where it's going, but Hillel caution about religion. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Hillel said, yeah, yeah. It's just not an issue for me anymore. I've been there, done that. I'm not saying I'm higher or lower. I'm just not doing it anymore. It's not important to me. Building a house up here is important to me. It's something I really sink my teeth into. I really like it. Let everyone's heart convict them. It's simple. Just pick love. You surrender. So yeah. Well, that's what, when I'm sure you're in the, Richard, you're on a high level, but I, I just, like I said, I went out this morning and this is the way I meditate. I don't sit on a pillow and, I used to do that, but I go outside and I'm just like, I kind of walk around and, until I figure out what I'm supposed to be doing that day. And I confer with Daniela and I ask her, what should I be doing? And she says, well, you mentioned this and you mentioned that. And we decide, okay, let's put in a window today, or today we went to another level by moving some solar panels out of the way so we can move our RV. This is forward thinking for us. But it's not that, I thought down and said, well, let's ask 5 different people what they think we should do and what do the experts say and what would an architect do. No, it's like, what do I feel like, what do I feel inspired to do today? And it was like, move those solar panels, get them out of the way, because they're right in the middle of the driveway. God's word is perfect. Man's word, the word isn't. I don't buy that, Poppy Two Bears. I think we're just as perfect, perfectly imperfect, and I don't think we're bad or wrong or any of that stuff. I don't think, I don't think I think we are God. I really do. I think we are part of creation. That's just me. But all you need is love. Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, these are all intellectual concepts. I don't really think I have an intellect anymore. I don't think things out like that. Like, well, this makes sense, and I just am. I'm not saying I'm on a high level or a low level. I'm on a different level. I'm just on the level of, like, I don't know. I got stuff to do, man. I'm building a house. I'm trying to please my beloved. I'm living with Danielle, and I want her to be happy, and I go out of my way to please her, to make sure she gets the food she wants and this kind of stuff. And that it floats my boat. You say, well, who's getting, it's I don't care. I'm very happy to have her with me, and she's just a wonderful companion. And we do great stuff out here. We really support each other, and we go through things, and we live in the mountains. Your boot house is going to be organic. Yeah. We don't want to put any well, Daniela caught me this morning. I was stuffing some synthetic fabric in one of the holes in our house, in our wall, because we're just putting, we're just framing out the walls now. It's not 100% finished. And she's like, you put like synthetic fabric. I'm like, I just did that to keep the wind out for now. But yes, we're going to be using mostly organic material. And that's because she's like allergic to everything, and we're trying to start to live in a way that suits us, not that suits somebody else. Conflict with God, nature, fellow people, self, and nature too. I don't know. I don't think there needs to be conflict. Why do you have to have conflict? Why can't you just, you know? But on the other hand, okay, so let's get back to this thought thing. So the idea of a movie, we had this movie. Walter Cronkite is telling you what reality is. What's going on in the Vietnam War. Saturday Night Live. That's what's funny in the world. All these things. Or you have to do this. You have to do that. And then for me, 14 years old, I'm like, I'm kind of, well, okay. So here's for me. I was elected to be the president of my junior high school. I took a lot of time. I made sure that that I knew everybody in the school, everybody. I didn't say, well, that one's, he's to this, or that one's to that. I just said, I know everybody, and I got elected. Then I was the president of my junior high school, and I I hated the job. I just hated it. It was difficult, and people were nasty, and I just, ever since then, I was just like, I don't want to do that again. It's not good. But here, to help with this, the republic, to help, the republic was basically destroyed in 1860. To pick up where we left off, to help the world elect, in a fair election, a new government 10% of the size of what it was, of like a few months ago. We are an amazing team, but you know what? If I was telling Daniela tonight, if in 1,000 years nobody would have put us together. There's nothing there's not like on the dating sites. Those things are fake anyway. But I think, but it just, and this is how we live. We live by divine law. She sends me an email. She says, I think you need me. And I say, great. So come over, and we'll work it out. We'll find out. And then she says, well, I have this issue and this issue. I said, listen, just come over, and we'll see if we can get along. That she was a lot younger than me, it really didn't matter. She could have been. She said, I'm 60 years old. She just happened to be 27. I was like, okay, so come over. And we've been inseparable ever since. We don't even, we don't, it's hard for us to even know where the other one starts and the other begins. We do so many things together. It's just so organic. It's natural. It's not intellectual. We don't think about, like, well, but nobody would have ever put us together. And it works out just fine. but that's kind of like being in the flow. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're in I feel like I'm to some degree in the flow. Like that's why I went out this morning. I didn't really know. I really kind of wanted to put it in another window because I love opening up the view in different ways. It just makes me so excited to walk out of my door in this enclosed little cabin, and to be able to see through windows the mountains and the valley, and the canyons, the fruit of the spirit. Yeah, it a very journey. Yeah, I just I've been like this. I mean, my mom's like, "Oh no, what are you doing now?" Um, I've been like this forever. I could switch on a dime, and I do, and I have many times. I'll go on this path, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Okay, I've had enough. Let's do something else." That's just the way I am. We don't need any government, right? Just roads until we get flying cars and free energy, right? Everybody says when you say you're not paying taxes, they'll go, "Well, what about the roads?" I'm like, "Well, what about the roads, man? Who's doing them? Well, anyway, I live near the future Corridor 11, so everything is a theoretical road. Anyway, it's all good. I mean, I think that wherever you're holding, and it's a process, and once you're involved with the process of awakening, it doesn't really matter where you are on the journey. You're just on the journey. But I'm very excited about this republic, about helping with the republic, helping with the elections. It's just so what I was saying about the election and me getting elected is like now I get to circle back. God, it's 60 years later, or more or less, around 60 years after I said I'm never doing that again. Here I have an opportunity to get involved in a government that I believe in. And I'm just like, hey man, let's do it. I feel it. I feel it happening. So yeah, some we hooked up. Yeah, we I know Richard for years and years. I told you he supported me. I was out. I was out. We've been homeless, man. Danielle and I. We've been. We've been through a lot, but we just keep going. And she's amazing. We got a letter from the mortgage company, and I was like, I got to call them and make a deal with them. She's like, you will not call them. She's like, no, we're not calling them. We're not dealing with them. And she's right. And now that I'm a little, once the fear went away, I was like, yeah, let them chase me a little bit. I chased them for, enough, whatever. Anyway, wouldn't a landing pad for your flying car be great on your mountain? We have we have a landing pad, and people fly by us. We had a Black Hawk fly by our property this morning, really close. And we have supersonic jets, two of them fly by every day. And helicopters came by, two helicopters came by. So yeah, we had you could land on our property. I'm high up, but and I'm sure that these people, I think they're curious about us. We're curious about them. Maybe one day they will just stop in. I don't know, but there's so much to discover out here. There's so much beautiful adventure to be had out here but we don't have metal detectors yet, but who knows what the future holds. We're going to be Jetsons, and we should have been, except that this transnational criminal organization denied it. But just getting back to what I understand from politics. So President Trump just threw it back in their face and said the real weapons of mass destruction are produced by you, the deep state. Just like we didn't know Bush was a deep stater, we thought weapons of mass destruction. We have to find them. Saddam was a Saddam. He was apparently like a kind of a cool dude. He took care of his people. He was into a gold currency. He was a little fruity. He was a little nutty, but he was a good guy, and the CIA. This is all about the CIA, about about this transnational criminal organization that's running the world through the CIA, through the Mockingbird media. Trump is now about to sue the the British Broadcasting. He already did this morning. He's going to sue the BBC back to oblivion because they lied. This is such a reversal. So I'm proposing this as an idea, that we had this movie. We were watching this movie, Walter Cronkite, Saturday Night Live. You grow to college and you get a job and you live happily ever after. And then it turned into Obama and like permissive things and the militant feminists, the feminists came along, and these transsexual thing, and the sexual revolution. And at some point, maybe I don't. Well, really, in 1963, when they killed, for at least for our eyes, they killed the president. There's the CIA, the mafia, the deep state, the parasites. We didn't know what that was. I mean, people said it was the mafia that did it. What does that mean? The mafia. We're not talking about the mafia. We're talking about a transnational criminal organization that's been running the world. And in 1963, he tried to stop them. I think Eisenhower also alerted the world to it's the military. He called it the military industrial complex. So these generals made a plan back in 1963, and the movie started to get the movie, like, you saw Wag the Dog, that the deep state controls the idea. We're having a war with Armenia. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Wag the Dog. It's a very cute movie, but it's definitely worth watching to understand how these people perpetrate insanity. And this movie, this creation, this narrative that is just a bunch of bullshit. It's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. And the white hats somehow started co-producing the movie with with moves and counter moves, with the so the movie is now no longer, and this is something in my understanding. So when they say, we're watching a movie, but the movie now has a second set of producers called the white hats, and they've infiltrated behind the scenes. So, like this guy said, is the IRS really gone? Well, hell, in my mind, yes, because this is all a creation. It's a narrative. It's not divine law. Out here, we have divine law. If you don't have water, you got to get it. We left at 6 o'clock. It takes 2 hours to get water. But that's real deal stuff, man. It's not this fake back and forth. The white hats also put out, so the narrative is like the collective consciousness of humanity. And now it is, and that's why people who say, oh, it's the EBS, XRP is going to go to the moon, everything's going to change, we're going to have a big war, and then there's going to be a scare event. Even Q says it, there's a scare event. The scare event is different for different people. What scares you would not scare me. So everyone has probably already had their black night of the soul at some point of this journey. I could have had, you could say it was this morning for me. I mean, I finally, after 5 years waiting for this money from the Department of Education, they basically flipped me off. And they said, "You're not getting your money, kid. Goodbye." And I'm like, okay, at least we have clarity now. At least I know I'm not going to get paid by these creeps. But the movie, so the movie, the narrative, the collective consciousness. So when the white hats say they need 50,000 people per state to be understanding the republic, of reinstituting the republic, that's part of the movie. This movie is taking a little bit of a turn. So you now can participate in a big way. You already are, but the wall thick as brick. Yeah, it's central casting, right? The people were warned about rejecting God in favor of government king. Yeah, I don't know. Richard, I can't. It's hard for me to relate. I love you, brother, but I just don't think of things in terms of religion. It's just, and that's how I was raised. My parents were agnostics. They were not into organized religion. In fact, we went to a Unitarian church for a little while, and after a while, they said, let's go for a walk in the woods. I don't want to. It was just like, it was tedious. It was like boring. It was like, what does this have to do with God? And so ever since then, for me, a walk in the woods is hanging out with God. That's just me. But then I came to understand that walking in the city is also, that wherever you are, it's not like God is only here in this plight. He's only in church, or he's only in the woods. It's everywhere all the time, 24/7, man. So so you just, it's just being in the flow. We go to town a lot. We go to town, like now we go like twice a week. And it's everything that happens there is holy too. It's not like, okay, we left God, now we're in the city. It's just as godly in the city. It's just as interesting, and the divine providence of what things happen. I think anti-vaxxers need a national class action suit to involve the Supreme Court. Yeah, but you know what? What really needs to happen is for the whole court, and that's just Sarah. The whole court system is going to be completely transformed. I think that's part of Jasara, um, although um, okay, although other people say we don't really understand. I'm talking about um, my for some reason, it's when I was a school teacher, it was like this. I could memorize 40 names in 10 minutes, but if I didn't see you every day, I would sometimes forget your name. Anyway, I'm just gonna move on, just skip that point. But the idea is that, yeah, God is everything, but I would just call it divine. That it would divine that the the creation. I mean, even to call it God is a little bit limiting. In Judaism, they call it Hashem, which means like the name. Central casting, yeah, the people were warned. Trump calls central casting all the time, right? Organize anything of man is generally corrupt. Yeah, yeah, but there's good too. I mean, I think this republic is going to be just fine. I mean, we have to believe that some things are good. I think a lot of things are good. Listen, I love my community. I just think they took a slightly wrong turn. I mean, they support. There's apparently they support men. Damn it, over Curtis. I mean, what's that about? Welcome to creation. Being aware of it brings self awareness in your own divinity, part of creation. It's the journey that counts. Yeah, it is the journey, because you don't really get anywhere. I can't say I'm higher than you, or who cares? Is this an inquisition of Ellie? Ellie, you are fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel under attack. I don't. I'm just. I feel it's important that we exchange our viewpoints. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. There's definitely salt and light. Yeah, definitely salt and light. So let's go to the thought stream, and then we'll just wrap it up. I mean, let me just see if there's anything else that's really pressing. I like these two little things. POTUS What POTUS brought in the generals you don't usually see on TV to sign an EO designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. This is a clear indication that the military is control. The fuck around phase is over, right? Please stand by. Shit is about to get real. That's for sure. Law of the land. It is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. All laws are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Okay. Thousands of codes and statutes are repugnant to the Constitution. This is going to be a test. Since I've seen this post on X 3 times in the last couple of days from anywhere to 50 to 100,000 views, all from people with fewer followers than I have. Time to obliterate the deep state. Okay, let's see what just came out. Trust the plan, right? Spiritual Trump card coming. Yeah. Okay, Congress is an organized crime front. Team D versus Team R is 100% fake theater and always has been. Yeah, I like Brian Cates. I think he's coming out with some great stuff. Everything is contaminated. You dispense chemicals. Right, that's true. A government that forces you to account to them for the way you spend your money, but refuses to be accountable to how they spend your money should be immediately replaced. Mike Lindell says the election fraud evidence is set to be released in early January and will end the Democratic Party as we know it. Okay. Switzerland is denying citizenship to anyone who has received welfare benefits over the last 3 years unless they pay back all the money. The entire world is sick of these third world invaders. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Not even Trump knew the timeline. This is a military civilian operation. The digital soldiers were enlisted in Ulster in the Great Awakening. Were enlisted in to usher in the Great Awakening. It was going to be up to us to get the country to the point of being ready. We are the digital soldiers. Hungary has criminalized NGO assistance to illegal immigrants. James Comer gets the Clintons off the hook again, allowing them their testimony to be pushed out until January. But yeah, I believe that, right? I don't believe that. Has flipped in favor of nuking the Senate 60 vote filibuster. Okay, well, that's good. Mullen wants to set J.D. Vance and Republicans up for a 2028 as well. Let's go all in. We're not going to get immigration done with bipartisan support. Okay, so great. I'm calling now. They're setting the stage, calling national emergency over election integrity. Right? Okay, so this is all happening. Trump just blew up a global oil scam. Trump's team just cracked open a massive oil racket lying together. We covered this yesterday about Cuba and all that. On March 2016, billionaire Daniel Penna says that if Trump is ever POTUS, he's going to change the world. Okay. BBC News, the BBC is going bankrupt. How about that for action? Soon you'll see that I'm suing the BBC. This is all the news. Vietnam has closed 86 million bank accounts because they refuse the digital ID. I don't know what this is. I don't know about that story. It's official. President Trump has filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the BBC. You can see where this is going. Read between the lines. This was not a casual comment. The same SEC chair, Paul Atkins, who ended the Ripple case, just admitted blockchains are more transparent than any legacy financial system ever built. He specifically used the words public blockchain, legacy system, ledger. If you think Ripple isn't part of the quietly being prepared here, you're not paying attention. At the same time, the SEC is openly hosting roundtables on ZK privacy. I don't know what this is. The exact ZK, this is an advertisement for ZK. It's some asset. Government surveillance planes caught people making bombs in the desert. They planned on bombing me. Maybe that's why the Black Hawks are checking me out. Bad omen, prophetic, foreshadowing, just a coincidence. Where's this going? Statue of Liberty replica fell down due to strong winds in Brazil. A whistleblower just released an internal document stating that effective January 1st, CDLs will no longer be accepted. This impacts trucking companies. So yeah, you got to know English, man. Do you know almost every bread company uses human hair and feathers in their bread? Well, that makes me feel good. Florida will become the first U.S. state to remove every single vaccine mandate, even for schools. Breaking U.S. Attorney Janine Perot confirms arrest of 35-year-old teacher for production child porn. Okay, they're the government is not failing you. They are actually trying to kill you. Big difference. That's brilliant, man. Right? The government is not failing you. They're trying to kill you. Duh. All right. Notice how the hoodies don't salute the hoodies because they're not an official uniform. Only veterans would catch this. This is from Derek. This custom is no different from the display on January 20th, 2021. Is Hillary's in the hospital? Yeah, right. So that's it. So that's all the news that's fit to print. I'm going to do one shameless promotion. I really encourage you. I'm not dissing XRP. I'm just dissing talking about it all the time. I just don't want it. I don't want to think about it. If you want to invest in XRP, just invest in XRP. You don't have to come on the station and spend, and just try to convince. We know that. It's just like do the action and a little less talk, a little more action. Okay, anyway, nothing, no harm meant. Okay, so hey, Mr. Johnny, vaccines are weapons of mass destruction. Yes, they are. Absolutely. This is an inquisition walking through creation. Is this an inquisition of Ellie? You were fine. Thanks, Dr. Mom. I appreciate that. All right. So let me do a little clip. Again, I'm just asking you to think about the Lifeway product. There was a film yesterday from David Schmidt, the inventor of this product. He's been doing this, by the way. This company is 20 years old, 21 years old, and they have lots of patents, lots of proof, lots of clinical studies. This was designed for the Navy SEALs, but he said yesterday, and I tried to replay this clip and I lost it. But he said yesterday, in the near future, people are going to be looking for jobs because AI is going to do all the work. But the one thing they won't be able to do is direct sales, direct network marketing. And that's what this is. You can really do well, if you want to. You don't have to punch a clock. You don't have to have a boss. You don't, in my mind, you don't pay insurance, period. And President Trump is really going to be destroying the insurance company, destroying big pharma, destroying the educational, these ridiculous fascist educators and all these things. We're coming back to divine law. We're coming back to the republic where men will be free. I just have to sneeze. I didn't even have cayenne pepper recently, and I'm sneezing. Okay, so let me just play. So yeah, so call Dr. Stacy, get on the bandwagon. Try some X39 if you have pain, if you have inflammation, if you have some kind of troubles, if the regular medical community has failed you, try X39. Try these patches. There are all kinds of different patches. We have one for glutathione, carnosine. All these patches are really great. I'm up to about like 3 patches a day, but that's just because whenever we get our check, the first thing we do is buy some Lifeway product because we've tried it the other way, and I've tried going without XRP. I'm sorry, without X39, and it doesn't cut it for me. It just adds so much to my life. I don't want to be without it. So it's really like it's up there with groceries. We buy it before we buy our groceries because Danielle and I are pretty good at fasting if we have to. We're not that dependent on food. We like do a lot of intermittent fasting, but we can kind of get by. But anyway, I we don't want to get by without food. Anyway, so let me just play a short clip, and then we'll do a song and call it a night. Let's see. I think it's here. Yeah.
I'm Carrie Robertson from Houston, Texas, and I began using LifeWave patches back in December of 2022. I actually got started because I had extreme discomfort in my body and I was really looking for relief. As a result, I had that within a few days, and then changes began to start, and they've been incredible over the past 14 months. One, in sleep. The quality of my sleep improved greatly, and of course that makes a huge impact on everything else. My hair has completely just done an amazing thing with the thickness of it, the length of it, and the gray hair going away, which is a plus. But also, just began to see the body change over time. And so I've gone from a 10-12 down to a size 2. And it's been the most incredible thing I've ever done for all of the changes that have taken place. And so I'm absolutely thrilled that I got started.
Okay, so that's I just encourage people to you could just go on the website and become a brand partner, or just order it, just try it. But I think you'll like it. I mean, Dr. Stacy says you need to try it for a while, but you might feel it right away. I mean, when I have pain like in my back because I do a lot of work, I find it just takes away the pain right away. It doesn't take it away completely, but it takes the edge off the pain, and that is huge for me. Today we were schlepping. We were trying to put this huge boulder in the wheelbarrow. Not so, we weren't so successful. I finally said, "Let me just roll it into place." But we do a lot of like heavy lifting or big items out here, windows, 20-foot boards and stuff like that, plywood. Although I did score a what do you call it, a hand truck, a nice hand truck. Our cousin Roman scored a hand truck for us. Found an old hand truck, and it's a really nice one. But I'm schlepping my plywood boards on hand trucks because I'm a little guy, and I just don't like to lift up plywood if I don't have to. But man, that's always fun. But good. So, okay, so let's go back to the chats. Anyway, I hope I haven't been too flippant tonight. I don't mean to diss any religions. I think religions are great because they bring people together, and it's a wonderful thing. Shoebox Tesla free energy. I think it's available. They just haven't released it yet. I'm showing you my patches that I do. This is SP6. I'm also using for endocrine system. I'm also using X49 and X39 at the moment, but I'm open to using more patches as we come into more bounty. But it ain't happening from a free gift from the Department of Education. That's okay. It's just like, okay, you know, no biggie. I mean, we managed here anyway. I came out here because I thought I was going to have all this money, but I came out here, and we're doing just fine. We're doing just fine. We're enjoying it. We're being fruitful, man, and I hope to get some fruit trees. It's exciting. It's exciting about here. It's like think about walking outside every morning and trying to figure out what you need to do for the day. What kind of a life that is. I mean, okay, we think about, well, what do we want to eat? When do we want to eat? And that's about it. Once we get that settled, we're just enjoying the sun and the beauty of the place and the clean air when they're not chemtrailing us and all that good stuff. So let's do join in the republic. How do we join in the republic? Right. So all you have to do is let me just like the government, right? But it's not going to be like the government. Okay, let me go to captions. Oh wait, I'll go to here. We take this off. Okay, all you have to do, am I right, Daniela? Because Daniela did it for me. But all you have to do is go to that website and click on the thing and fill out the information and tell them you want to volunteer. Tell them you want a position. If somebody needs a position, you'll do it. It's that simple. And yeah, and that's it. That's the republic, man. That's going to be. And once enough of us have registered into this system, the White Hats will start Jasara. So, if you're waiting for to be saved, you're waiting for the EBS, if you're saying, when is it going to happen? Well, it's going to happen when you and I get on the computer and sign up. And then you may be called to do some stuff and you'll do it. You'll help, and you'll help monitor the elections for the 120 days, and then we'll have a real government of the people, by the people, for the people, just like the government. Mr. Guru, why do you think the news media is not talking about the military evacuating people from their homes in Washington? I don't know. I don't know about that, but the media doesn't talk about anything. How do we join the republic? Yeah. So I know you've talked about this, but I found, yeah. So you don't need the video. All you need to do is to click on this website and just follow the directions. That's it. Whatever state you're in, they just found out that I live in Arizona, and they're like saying, "Wow, we would love to have you as part of it." I'm like, I would love to help, so I'll do whatever I can to bring in, But this, in my mind, this is what it takes. It has to come from us. It can't be a gift. Can I show that? Can I show that? Let me show that here. So the Daniela just said, Republic for the United States of America, and apparently you click these lines. You see these lines here? You click the lines. See the three lines? You just click those lines. It says register and login, and I guess you just, let's say, if I click on, right, you could and then you put your name and all that stuff, and they ask you at the end, would you like a receipt? Would you like to reseat a position in the republic? Yes or no. So I said yes. I would love to. Uh, Password, state, county, last name, email address. They're not asking for your underwear size or anything. You don't have to worry. It's not your social security number. I don't think they're asking. I don't think they care. Really enjoyed the show. I have been all in with the Republic since 2024. These are exciting times. I quite agree, Adrian. It's very exciting to me. I think this is the fulfillment of. I think this is the the best thing that we'll ever do in this lifetime. I think this has the potential to be the greatest thing we ever accomplish in this body. The particular in this lifetime. Reincarnation, all that other stuff. I mean, I feel like this is a very important piece of the pie. Okay, maybe more important than religion. I'm just saying that to bring back justice, to bring back divine law, to bring back divine understanding, real divine understanding, not dogmatic ideas of what a terrible person you are and how you have to change your nature and all this other bullshit. I mean, what we really have to do is not change our nature, but just become more of our nature in a way that opposes the creepazoids, because they've been trying to get us to be somebody else other than what we really are, I think. So yes, Sandy was amazing. Sandy was amazing. Sandy Marecki, and hopefully she'll come back in January. But I'm open to having other guests from the Republic. I'll do what I can. I think this is the cause we've been waiting for, and this is a direct connection to the White Hats. This is a civilian military alliance at its best. All you got to do is get on the republicforusa.org and sign up, and let's rock this thing. Now they've been, Sandy said they've been sabotaged. They're infiltrated. They have the same problems that we do. I've had 14 YouTube channels. And now I'm asking, now I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube, and I'm thinking to myself, do I really need this? Because then are they going to come after me again, or are the white hats in control? I don't know. I really don't know. I thought I was going to win this lawsuit. I mean, it makes sense. Why would anyone want to get vaccinated? So we didn't follow orders. We lost our job, and we lost a chance to ever get paid back. I think somehow we're going to get paid back, because I think, like, the realization that one of the leading members of this teachers was that the government is evil. Like it was a surprise to him. He's like, the lawyers are in on it. I'm like, yeah, it's just a shell game to them. The lawyers, the judges, the Supreme Court, they're like, okay, justice, it's under one of these three shells. It's a game. We have to learn to identify and remove from ourselves parts of our ego that are not us, right, and do not belong to us. Yeah, 100%. And it's a lifelong journey. And I did a lot of it with mushrooms. That was part of my pathway. And I'm not recommending that to anyone. I'm just saying it could come from. It's not an organized pathway. It's not like you do these 21 steps and you'll be enlightened. It's going to be different for everyone. You're gonna learn things in where, when you fail and when you have like a bad relationship, you'll learn more stuff than if you had a good relationship. I mean, that's the game of enlightenment. XRP 187. It's a great buy. I don't know if this is a troll, just making fun of me, but it's a great buy. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I'm not going to sit around and talk about XRP all day. We all know what XRP is. We all know what gold and silver is. We all know I am I am feeling like I want to invest in copper because I can't really afford silver the way I used to be able to. But silver was, I knew it was going to go up, and it'll probably go up more. But I'm not in a position to buy, spend thousands of dollars buying ounces of silver. But I can buy, I can buy a lot of copper, 35 cents a pop, and I can buy a lot of XLM. I can buy a lot of XRP, IOTA, all that stuff, and I will when I have a little bit of money. But I was hoping to have this big bucks, and it's a gift, whether it's good or bad. Whether you think it's good or bad, it's always good. So I'm just saying thank you. Thank you for finally making up your mind that you're not going to pay us. I'm delighted. It's like clarity. So, yeah, so let me play a tune. There seems to be enlightenment without sufferance. There seems to be no enlightenment without sufferance. Yeah, it could be. It could be. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, for me, I've gone through some crazy shit in my time. I mean, some really painful stuff. I mean, a lot of it was really self inflicted because I didn't know any better. I just, I believed in the Matrix. I believed that these things were really happening. Now it's just like, if it's, like with this lawsuit, if I win the lawsuit, that's great. If I lose the lawsuit, that's great. It doesn't really matter to me anymore. It's like, I'm happy. I'm happy that it's finally done. So, I don't have to worry about what am I going to do with all these millions of dollars. Like, it's just like, it's not happening. So I don't have to worry about it. All right. Anyway, let's play a tune, and we'll say our goodbyes. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for helping us with everything. And let's see, gosh, okay. So, but that's I think it's really an important. It's surprise. It came out of nowhere. I mean, Gila said, "Would you interview Nancy?" I was like, "Of course." And she's like, "Well, when can you do it?" I'm like, "Let's do it today." It's like, um, Nancy had problems with her computer, whatever. But we talked to each other on the phone. She's just a delight, a delightful person, and wondrous. Everybody, and really, when you get down to it, like the idea of the whole world shutting down when one child is lost. Everybody that you meet is the one. I mean, if you have that understanding, it just makes life so much more. And every experience you have is what you're supposed to experience. It's like, well, this shouldn't. I can't deal with this because it's not godly. No, everything is godly. even okay, so here's an example. Even Danielle and I blew a tire out from our in our trailer when we were hauling water once. And for me, I was like, I spent the night thinking, that's it. I failed. I'll never be able to live off grid. And we dumped our the trailer and the water container by the side of the by inside. We luckily, I mean, this is how God protects you. We broke down right in front of the ranch, so we just dumped it at like a little place in front of the dumpsters, and we said, you know what, that's it, man. My life is ruined. I spent all this time on it. This poor girl Daniela, I took her out in the wilderness, and now I've screwed it up. And then the next day, I get a text from Norm. He's like, I got your trailer. I fixed it up for you, man. You blew a tire. I got a spare tire. It's like God is good. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, let me. It's like a med bed. Yeah, I think we're going to the what was that? Going back to we have our republic back thanks to Trump. Yeah, Trump's amazing. Going back to the start to listen. Cheers. I made it. Oh, thank you. Great. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll let you know like right before the show because I don't really know, but I'll send it to you on email on Gmail. And oh yeah, we're meeting with Dr. Stacy tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, and our friend Grant is going to come on, and we're just going to hang and see what happens. We're talking about the patches. We think it's uh we think it's really important. I don't know when the med beds are going to be revealed. I don't care, but I want to live in good health now. I just like the money. I know someday we're all gonna not worry about money, but I don't worry about money now. If I don't have any, we just can't. We're like, okay, we can't get on Amazon. We can't. We're trying to get a squeegee for all our windows to wipe the dirt off. Which like we can't afford it now. In a couple days, we'll be able to afford it. We can't go to town now. We'll go in a few days and get our supplies. It's all good, man. Okay, so let's play the tune and we'll say Sally, our divine. Let's see, where did that go? Oh my gosh, I didn't. Oh, I can't. Okay, so I'm gonna have to play New Morning because I've learned that you can't. I can't search for things. Apparently, it's not on here. Okay, so we'll just play this. Waking up on the front porch, Sunday at dawn. The night was hotter than hell and forever long. I can see the first light breaking through the trees. I feel the changes in the cool breeze of freedom. And it's a new morning. It's a new morning. We never saw it coming, hiding in plain sight. Are you seeing this? What? Okay. I got kicked off again. Huh? Oh, Okay, I got this thing again. I'm so can you see me? Okay, so I'm not gonna like switch around. I'm in like no man's land on this platform. I don't know why it switches out, but I guess I pressed the wrong button. But everyone should have a wonderful night. You should know that you are the one. You are Neo, and you don't have to be like me. You just have to be like you. That's. I really think that's a pretty easy way to understand everything. And the republic should rise, and we should have justice, and we should have lots of money and not have to worry about money, not even think about money. This has all been a big scary movie. It's time to watch maybe a romance or a comedy now. After all the scary stuff from the deep state criminal empire, the empire is being destroyed. So may the force be with you. May you realize that you are force itself. May source be with you. May you realize that you are the creative source itself. You are woven into the fabric of creation. There's no real separation between you and the divine. You are, and does that mean you are God? Yeah, kind of, but kind of not. You just have to like, don't even think about it. Just have a great day. That's the bottom line. So let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock the world. That was weird that I got. Are we expecting rain next week?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Let me do some dishes. You want to watch our show?
If you do the dishes